Apologies for that. I got rudely interrupted by the rain and a thunderstorm. Another thunderstorm. There is so much rain going on this year. It feels in the UK like something might be manipulating the weather, but who knows? There has been an awful lot of rain, and it felt like the sun didn't really come out a lot this summer. Summer kind of bypassed us in the UK. Anyway, back to what I was saying, and apologies for the little break there. So, yeah, the old head doorman of Raquel's, he was contacting me back then, but since then, he's tried to have a few things strike off YouTube and got a bit upset. But other than that, he really has kind of left me alone. That's been fine. I think he might have sent a couple of his sons out, or his sons have been out on the YouTube warpath, trolling about and things like this. But other than that, he hasn't really been too much of a problem or anything like that. I haven't really had any contact with him. Now, I do believe there was talk. Well, I know there was talk at one point that Brian Richardson, Brian Rolfe, and Bernie were going to have a chat and get together on a Liam Tuff show. I don't know whether this is well, I asked to. I did email Liam and messaged Brian and asked if I could join the lads on the sofa, just because I do believe it is good to have a female input, and to have a balanced debate when we are debating and talking about these things. And nobody's game for fights, and nobody can say it's just for promo. Otherwise, what are they doing there? So I did contact Liam Tufts, but and his security company and his podcast, but I haven't heard anything. Um, Brian said to contact Liam. I did. I haven't heard anything. I don't know if that's still happening anyway, but I would love to talk to everybody. And it is quite interesting that it is nearly a year now that since I poked my head into the Facebook groups, and a lot has gone on, which I'm going to talk about further as we move along. I, I'm not up for any trouble or anything like that. I really do like to get to the truth. And for me, it's quite clear that the truth hasn't come to light. And, talking of Bernie, I have looked at some of his comments and things about certain things, and I don't disagree with everything. There's always an element of truth that's sometimes poked in with different people and all of these kind of things, because otherwise it would never ring true in any way. That's not to say that, and we don't have to agree with everything everybody says, but we also have the right to challenge, and we have the right to question people. And that's why I would like to be on some podcasts and panels about it. And truly, because the female voices haven't really been heard. And everything that I've experienced in the last year since coming into the Facebook groups, and since the Essex murders Sky documentary aired, the people that I've spoken to, things that I've discovered, the way people have acted, the way people have conducted themselves, and different people and different incidents and things that have happened have been so illuminating and so highlighting. And these aren't things I can ignore. There are lots of characters that are still involved and prevalent in this story, and we all know who they are. I'm going to go into them very shortly. But first of all, the main characters are the deceased, the dead people. And I don't say that coldly or graphically. I say it because it is the truth. And Leah Betts and the three Essex guys, so Tate, Tucker and Rolfe, are the four people that lost their life in this whole tragedy and scenario. And unfortunately, there are more people connected to this whole story. that have also lost their life or suffered some really horrible shit and some awful traumas and things that should never have happened to them and that they would like to heal from. And while people are holding the truth down or controlling the narrative, these kind of healing can't happen. Or it can happen, but it's much more difficult, when victims are being invalidated or intimidated still, when the truth and different voices aren't being heard and are being silenced. And when the whole truth and manipulation of what's been going on hasn't come out, it's all to do with sex, drugs, and dance music and ecstasy. And the younger generation, when we're dismissed and people say that we don't know anything, and and then people fly in like, rah, shut her down, discredit her, who the hell are you, da 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 da. It's very, very, very illuminating and enlightening, because I'm really not that way inclined, and I've been trolled. Not that much, to be fair. I'm quite happy to say I've not been trolled that much. But when you work in a public sphere online, in any capacity, and when I've been a pay-3 model and working in the dance music industry with high-profile international DJs and clubbing and partying and doing my thing for the last 30 years, ever since Raquel's, then, you meet lots of people. And I've met lots of people, and I've been living in a man's world since leaving home at 16. Have, I love guys, and I'm not like one of these feminists that's like, oh my God, no, men, and like feminist and all of this kind of thing. And no, I love guys. I love good guys. I really, really do. And I love good DJs, and I love good men, and I love good husbands, and love good fathers, and all of these things. And we all done things we regretted and maybe shouldn't have in our kind of 20s, and maybe gone into our 30s, some of us. And I'm not talking about doing like cut the pills or having a good time on a Saturday night. I'm talking about like degradation and deprivation and debauchery, which we kind of maybe won't be proud of, and all these kind of things. But, this is a long way from the kind of violence and abuse and things that have been going on in our history, in this story, and the level of manipulation, the level of covert narcissism that's been going down throughout, and the level of kind of drug trafficking networks and all these kind of things that are involved. Because it's always been like that, and it has come to light that the police corruption in this case is huge, and they're involved. And when I tried to talk about Paul Betts being the ex-police officer, Met police officer, the father of Leah Betts, when I tried to talk about him, it was very prevalent that certain people from TMI didn't want me to talk about it and shut me down very quickly. So let's just talk about the characters that are involved in the Essex Boys case, that are still alive, that are involved in a prevalent way, and maybe were there, or basically were there, who was there, man. And or who have professed to be there, professed to be involved, and also appeared on the documentaries, been in films and all of this kind of thing. So we have characters in our cast list for the Essex Boys case, yes we do. And one person that is verified to be family, and the only person that is talking out at the moment that is family, is Brian Richardson, otherwise known as Brian Rolfe, who is Craig Rolfe's brother, Craig being one of the guys shot dead. And unfortunately, Craig was born in Holloway. Craig wasn't just a guy that shot a drug dealer that shot dead in a Range Rover. He was a man. He was He was a boyfriend, he was a brother, he was a son, he was all of those things. And so all of these people are actual souls and spirits in the other dimension where we all pass to. And so when you disrespect the dead and disrespect the lives and the truths of people and don't respect the families and all of these kind of things, then it really does create an incredibly awful karma for those people. So you can fool people, but you can't fool people all the time. And you can't fool the universe, and everything is energy for me. And I do believe that once you learn to be able to read energy, then you really can't be fooled at all. And the more aware you can be and the more discerning you can be, then you can see through the people that are really just kind of out for themselves, manipulating, all about their ego, and just want everybody to kiss their ass. I've never been into kissing ass. No, nobody's really. It's not kind of my thing. I think it's Diddy's thing. I think Diddy likes to do a lot of things in that area, but we're not going to go into that right now. We are talking about the Essex Boys case and the characters involved in that. So, Brian, his family, currently talking out as well, and always has been, is Colton Leach, who professes to be best mates with Tony Tucker. I think that is a disputed fact, a well disputed fact. Not a fact, maybe. Or maybe so. But for some reason, these guys don't want to talk to me. And they, to begin with, they kind of pretend to be nice, and, well, sometimes, and then they don't. And then they want to get information. And then they start to lie and cheat and be really horrible. And you're like, what's this guy all about? And that's where I've been at for the last year, summarising and understanding what's been going on while I haven't been looking at this case. So the last year has been very telling and very enlightening and very illuminating, and I do feel very strongly that Leah Betts' truth needs to be told and found out, and this demonising of ecstasy story that was very manipulative came from the News of the World, came from Murdoch, who is the actual whoa. You know, don't say their names. They who shall not be named, they shall not be named for a reason. It's a bit like old Voldemort. You know, in Harry Potter, they don't say their names because we don't want to bring the attention to these people in that way by calling out that name in that way. But that is what we are dealing with. You know, that is the truth of it. So we have Colton, who I remember from various doors in London. I used to club a lot in London. I've been clubbing for a long time. I've been to a lot of parties, and as you can imagine, lots of guys talk to me, whether it be behind the bar where I was at Raquel's, or whether it be, you know, in the club, or through my job, because I carried on in the music industry. So even though people are like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. Like, Raquel's was a club, and I followed the music, and I carried on following the music. And so I carried on and raving, and then moved into the music industry full time in 2000. And when I say the music industry, I mean the clubbing industry, the DJ industry, the dance music world. And this is where the ecstasy connection and the music connection, and how all of this is used to manipulate people. And I don't agree with music or ego or status or influence or money being used to manipulate or hide behind. And that's why I'm talking out on loads of things. I do really believe in truth and justice, and it's really important to me. And I really feel strongly Leah Betts' spirit and soul, and many of the people that have been lost in this, because when you're psychic, you don't really have a lot of choice in the matter. You can feel the energy of souls that have been taken before their time, and when their truth has been manipulated, when they are no longer here to defend themselves, speak out, or say what's the truth. You can, for me, nothing more than my brother-in-law's death has taught me that. I can feel it, children, feel it deeply. I really can. So I am not here to fight with anybody. I am not here to cause trouble. I really do want to find the truth, and call out to everybody that wants to find the truth and make sure that the drug trafficking, the abuse, the SRA, the stuff that's been coming out with Diddy, which I'm going to do a whole nother recording about, is so illuminating. It's been what I've been trying to talk about for the last 4 years, and just like this case, that's been going on for 30 years. You know, these people have been active, prevalent, and destroying so many people, and all of these things are linked. So where you find the links and how we talk about these things and how we empower victims to support each other and witnesses to support each other is why we all talk out together. So the characters here, we've got Brian Richardson, as I said, Craig Rolfe's brother. We've got Carlton Leach, who said he was Tony Tucker's mate. He was a doorman back in the day. Bernard O'Mahony, known to me as Bernie King, was also the head doorman. I can definitely verify. I do not dispute that he was. He has tried to dispute that I even worked there, which is bloody ridiculous, for God's sake. So, because especially when, to begin with, he was like, oh, long time no see, you know, like, come on. So don't even try and dispute what is provable, evidential and fact, please. So then we have two ex-Met police officers, David McKelvey, who now runs a private investigation company called TMI Limited. He has been reviewing this case since lockdown, and he says he's trying to help he's been trying to help get to the truth, allegedly. And I do wonder why we have ex-police officers reviewing this case. I do not think that's independent, and whether or not they are good or bad, or whether or not they are covering up anything, I have had some unprofessional behaviour, shall we say, from David that was quite upsetting, really, and I was quite shocked by it. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I don't think we should have any secrets here as to what's going on. So David and Albert Patrick, who was also a firearms officer back then, and then David was on the Special Forces Canning Town CID unit, whatever it may be. I'm not a police officer, I wouldn't know. I did contact David very early on when I found out about him, because I was dealing with the suspicious death of my brother-in-law on the beach. I was after a little bit of help. I did give him loads of information, loads of names about it, and I haven't really had any help since, unfortunately. And he said he did try and help me, and he really didn't. There is no evidence of that, and my husband is witness to that. Anyway, Albert Patrick did come and see me. I gave him some information and had a chat with him and had a coffee with him. But Albert has kind of ducked out of the whole situation with me being blocked and chucked out of the Facebook group for trying to talk about Paul Betts, and also for sticking up for James Waldron, because I don't care who it is. I don't agree with bullying. So if people stop bullying Bernie, I don't agree with it. Even though he's not my favourite person on all of these kind of things, it goes both ways. I do not agree with any kind of silencing and shutting down. Everybody has a right to be heard. Everybody has a voice. everybody's voice should be heard, and especially in this case that has been going on for 30 years, where you can really, if you look very carefully, you can see, or not, you don't even need to look carefully. For those that are interested in this case, and if you are still watching, then you probably are, you will see that the older guard, the older generation is still trying to hold on to this narrative, and anybody younger and anybody that was witness or going to the club or friends of Leah Betts or anybody in the younger generation, they're really trying to, like, they've not been heard. Our voices haven't been heard. There's a lot of old guys talking the talk and giving it the large one and like, I'm sorry, Carlton, but I'm gonna call it. All you're doing is going on your social media and trying to sell shit. Like, oh, this guy sent me this, and this guy sent me this West Ham thing. And this, and like, and when we're talking about West Ham, everyone knows. And if you know what I'm talking about, then I don't need to go any further. But I know that Colton knows, and I know that David McKelvey knows. And if you would like to go to my sport expose on this YouTube channel, then you know what's going on with me if you go and look. And David has known about this for a long time. And, when people say they're help and they're not. And then the last thing that David said was that I was spreading malicious and defamatory messages about him, which is absolutely rubbish, and threatened me with legal action, which is just like a certain West Ham football boss. And while you're all in the stands at West Ham, and while it's all being sold off quickly as possible, I am an Essex girl born and bred, and I know loads and loads of people, and we see you, and we know what's going on. The truth has been so manipulated. Why people have acted in that way, why I got chucked out of Facebook groups for doing absolutely nothing, and the way people have acted have really shown me so much, and I think it's disgraceful. And I will call out to everybody that cares about truth and justice and making sure people aren't drugged and, be sexually assaulted in these ways and all of these kind of things. Because what happens when the truth doesn't come to light, and when people don't talk about these things, what actually happens is that this carries on. So this cycle, we're supposed to be the cycle breakers here. I believe that's what the Children of the Revolution are all about. That's what I am here for. We're supposed to be cycle breakers. And when this kind of old guard network, whatever industry, whatever walk of life you may be, when they continue to get away with it, they get worse, then it all carries on, and people still keep getting hurt, people's mental health, people's physical health, people that end up getting very angry because they've got so much trauma and nobody is doing anything about it. And we can see how this has gone on for 30 years. And that is my underlying whole purpose here, is to break the cycle. I am a cycle breaker. And I do enjoy talking the truth. I've always been honest as the day is long. I've seen lots of people try and come down and be incredibly unkind and incredibly wrong. And we really do see you. And I would like to appeal to anybody that would like to connect with me and talk to me. You can contact me, Sasha at istreamradio.com. That's iStream with double E, Sasha with a C. And because I do believe that we can bring the truth to light, and that this kind of control of the narrative and this fight that is kind of with these I'm not being derogatory when I say old guards. I mean older than me, the next generation up. And the Essex boys were in their mid-30s when I was 21. And, you know, so that kind of gives you a level of understanding of where the generations go, who's grooming um, who's more vulnerable than who should have more responsibility, and who hasn't grown up yet. We can see how bad it has got in our society, how bad grooming has been. The grooming needs to be understood. The people that have been really not growing up emotionally, we do things wrong, but you guys, you need to grow up. People in their 60s and they're not emotionally strong enough to stand up for women, children, and be a good guy now. And I'm not saying that everybody involved in this is a bad guy. What I'm saying is how people conduct themselves and the behaviour that they have, and what they're doing right now. When I have done absolutely nothing wrong, and I'm not like just defending myself, I'm just going, it could be really upsetting if I was more vulnerable. I've been through an awful lot, but fortunately I have an awful lot of protection, spiritual protection, magical protection, and discernment. I have the gift of discernment. It's right there in my Pearl Gene Key for those of you that have been watching my Gene Key stuff. And that gives me a superpower to not let it get to me and not go, oh my God, it's me. Because it really isn't. When people are being unkind and don't want to get in the room and don't, and start trying to shut you down and lie to you. I see these lies and they're very obvious, and I'm not just gonna F off and disappear just because some old guys that were involved at the time don't want me, younger victims, younger witnesses, people that were involved, people that were drug dealing, people that were groomed, don't want to talk to them. And I think when we talk to the people that have been silenced, like Leah Betts' friends and things like that, when we talk to them, then we really get to the truth. I'm not here to condemn anybody, I'm not here to condemn anybody's past, but how they act now is telling to what sides they're on and where they're at. And yeah, I know people have done a lot of wrong things in the past, and of course the people that have got away with this and that orchestrated the whole Leah Betts and the boys being shot, and then the whole sensationalism and the Hollywood narrative ever since. Of course people need to be brought to justice, but can we just make the change for the future that we need to see, come together and just have a chat, like Brian Richardson said he was going to do a podcast with me 6 months ago, then he went silent. It's, and unless you're as bad as Diddy and doing the things that Diddy is doing, and his network have been doing, then really you have one choice. And even if you have been doing that, you still got one choice. God is your witness, and we will all have to decide, it will not be our decision on the day we pass through. So, and I really believe that we can make a difference and we can make a change. Now, I have connected with some lovely people and some people that already have been talking an awful lot of truth, and I've got some support, and I thank everybody for the support they've given me and all the subscribers. I'd love to get to over 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. So if you can share me and share me to your socials, share me to your Facebook, share me to your Instagram, go to my TikTok, follow me, all of those kind of things, and we can make some noise about this, get the truth out there, and really do it independently, away from anybody that has any conflict of interest. So that means involved on a criminal side, not even a criminal side, whether it be police or criminal or involved. These should be the independent reviewers. So, I can't do the review. I was working at Raquel's. I'm a witness. Independent reviewers I have, but I do need everybody that is interested in this story in the audience to let me know that they can help us do this. We always need funding, obviously, but it's not. We can do this properly with the right community level of support. I've got a Facebook group called Essex Boys and Essex Girls The Truth. That is what we are all looking for, don't you think? That the truth will set us free. The truth is everything. The truth is paramount to our mental health, to our sanity, and to making a difference to everybody. So please don't strike me, guys. Strike me down and I will come up stronger. And anybody that would like to get in touch with me, do so. I've got two sites. I've got the radio website and I've got the Whistleblowers United, which is wbutd.org site. And whistleblowers, we are, when sometimes the truth is so difficult to say and difficult to come to terms with, but we can come to terms with it. I truly believe that we can. Good men stand up, and show yourselves, and remember, I can see your soul, so don't pretend and don't lie to me, because that's it, I see you, and it won't end well for you, because karma is a real thing. Karma is real. Your intuition is real. So read it. And we're going to keep on talking about this. Nobody will silence Sasha. I'm the wrong person to try to silence. And remember, guys, I do love you. This isn't a attack on anybody or a feminist rant. This is a pure understanding that everything in this case, the narrative has still been manipulated. I do think it should be an independent review. Nobody should have any problems with that. Michael Steele is still, his parole hearing has been delayed. They just don't want him to be of sound mind or to be able to talk to anybody when he comes out. It's very clear. The justice system isn't working. But I do believe in people power, and people power can bring the justice, universal justice to light, love to light, and that's what it is. When we come together, it's because we love justice and we love truth, and so we can do it. And I've got a good few people behind me, and it's only a couple of months till the end of the year, so we're going to keep our spirits high and keep all the spirits and souls high, including Tate Tucker and Rolf and Leah Betts, because they're not here to talk for themselves. So I'll do my best to channel them in every way I can, and we will bring the truth to light. I promise you that. Documentaries, films, all about the truth. They are the winners, aren't they? Good night. God bless. I love you all.